Hello and welcome to the Language of Pearls podcast. My name's Deborah Gambrel. And in today's episode, healing is hard work to the religious. If it ever feels like it's hard, laborious work to do the things of God, it may be a flare going up to signal you it's time for a self-check. Many times when I found myself stressed and burdened with doing good, I also found out in the end, most of it was my own doing. Doing good must follow doing what God asked of us to do. Nothing more and nothing less. For all that I require of you will be pleasant and easy to bear. Matthew 11:30, the Passion Translation. Hard work doesn't equal burdensome work. It means you put in effort that was worthy of the task, not worthy of complaint. As we direct our lives and focus into the things of God, we have to ask ourselves, is this what He wants me to do now? Or is this just something good I could do? Let's say you've heard from the Lord that you should be writing a book about overcoming hardships, or a book about how you survived an incredible challenge. At first, this task seems exciting and adventurous. However, if we do not count the cost of sacrificing some time off to dedicate to writing, organizing that writing, the editing, the marketing, and so forth, we end up with a halfway finished product. Then we might compensate by doing many good, godly things, but forgetting the first assignment God gave us to do. You never want it to be said of you that you can start things but never finish them. Luke 14:28-30. But don't begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there's enough money to finish it? Otherwise, you might complete only the foundation before running out of money, and then everyone would laugh at you. They would say, there's the person who started that building and couldn't afford to finish. Though this scripture is about counting the cost to follow Christ, it very well defines counting the cost of full obedience, which includes listening and obeying God's instructions. If God asked you to write the book, why are you placing other things before accomplishing that task? Whenever we hear clearly from the Lord, many other things, let's say distractions, arise to the occasion. You finally hear, you are called to be a missionary. It fits perfectly with your heart and where you feel God has been leading you. You go off for a bit of training and you come back on fire. This is what needs to be happening. But then something happens. Along the way to sharing the good news of God's call upon your life, an attractive gentleman shows up that just thinks the world of you. Your heart is about to burst. God's call, and then a man to top it all. However, as time goes by, your entire time is devoted to this one person in love, and not in what God called you to do. When it's God, it always aligns with what He has already said. The book. Let's talk about the book. Let's say the book is on its way, and suddenly your cousin calls. They're in the middle of a divorce. She has nowhere to stay, and you let her stay at your house. Before you know it, you are tending so much to her needs, your own family needs, and your volunteering, there is never any time to write. Have you counted the cost? Could your loved one wait? Could they be more self-sufficient? Did you carve out uninterrupted time for yourself? If things got interrupted, did you give up or try again? Do you have to remove something from your schedule? One Sunday, my boys and husband were on a camping trip. I had church with my baby girl. Then we had a conference meeting right after church. Then my boys had a Awana ceremony. I don't know if you've heard about that program, but it is amazing, and you may want to look it up in your area. I said Awana, A-W-A-N-A. Anyways, moving on. The day was booked. Let's also mention that I'm still an exclusively pumping mother, and I have an infant to take care of at this time. And for her age, there's not really care at the church. So I could have tried it all, doing it all Wonder Woman style. Wonder Woman in the making. But I have to be real with myself. Doing church by myself with an active baby, that's skipping a nap in order to make it to church, then skipping 2 other naps because The other two events followed during that time slot. That had a taste of disaster. Something had to go. I stayed home doing church online, giving the baby time to nap. Pumped before the meeting. Had a baby carrier with a unhappy baby, but got all the info I needed to prepare for this conference that we volunteered for in our church. Pumped on the way to the ceremony, then watch my boys get their awards, then takeout, then family movie night. Now Sundays are not my days to do work. They're my family day. Most of my church volunteering is on other days of the week. However, there are times you make adjustments based on what God called you to do. We are called to serve in our capacity at our church. Therefore, a conference meeting was a part of that. Now, this was not a typical Sunday, thank goodness, but we counted the cost, made arrangements, and moved forward. When it comes to obeying God in the responsibilities He has given you, remember the following when you want to do it all. 1 Samuel 15:22. But Samuel replied, "What is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to His voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams." Something to consider is that obedience opens doors. It opens doors to blessings, sometimes specific to provision to accomplish that which God already called you to do. That book may be what you need to provide an additional income. Delaying that romantic relationship may open doors to the provision for the missionary work. And if it's a God relationship, it will always align with God's calling and purpose over your life, not take away from it. In Luke 13, Jesus heals on the Sabbath. Jesus knew His calling. He spoke about it in the synagogue when He read from Isaiah 61 on chapter 4 of Luke. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that captives will be released, that the blind will see, that the oppressed will be set free, and that the time of the Lord's favor has come." Luke 4:18-19. With this calling in mind and knowing, of course, that He would suffer at the cross, at the hands of people that would not agree with Him, Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Having rest on the Sabbath is a good thing, but obedience to the Father is the higher calling. A woman who had been crippled by an evil spirit needed deliverance, and Jesus followed through. Luke 13:13. Then He touched her, and instantly she could stand straight. How she praised God. How did the religious respond? But the leader in charge of the synagogue was indignant that Jesus had healed her on the Sabbath day. "There are 6 days of the week for working," he said to the crowd. We don't see Jesus sweating this out. He knows what's in the heart, and He has been obedient to His call. The religious will always be bound by more rules, more, let's say, good things to do that God didn't give direction for in the first place. And the religious will miss out God moving even before their eyes. Matthew 23:13. What sorrow awaits you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites! For you shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You won't go in yourselves, and you don't let others enter either. God's call may not be easy to fulfill, but it will fall in line with how you were created. The challenges that you have overcome in your life prepared you for it, and you can be sure to find the hard work fulfilling and producing great fruit and provision. Work hard to obey His word upon your life, and let nothing distract you. Sweet hugs, my friend.